Hello and welcome to Weekending. On the show, our guest today is Meera Rajput Kapoor, who at 26 has successfully embraced motherhood, Bollywood and social media. Meera, thank you so much for your time. Let's begin with your story, which is how was it for you to transition from being a Delhi girl to a Mumbai girl?
I think it was probably as challenging as it is for anybody to kind of move cities, because I think every city has its own pulse, its own culture, and I've been born and brought up in Delhi, and it has a very, very strong identity. So I think the challenge was definitely to ease the pace a little. I think Bombay is very relaxed. They're also really chilled out. People are very, very accepting, because you have so many people coming from different cities. So I think for me, the transition was fairly smooth. Fortunately, two of my closest friends had moved to Bombay at the same time. So for those first couple of months, it was quite easy, and I have to say, thanks to Shahid and my family here, it was made quite simple. But yeah, I think I did have to get used to, dressing down a little bit, and I really enjoy that because I like to be a lot more chilled out. And yeah, now I think I call Bombay home.
Tell us about how is it to co-parent with a celebrity?
I think it's pretty much the same as how two people who have their own, way co-parent. I've been brought up in a very different way in, a family. We love to know about each other's business all the time. And Chai has had far more laid back, very liberal upbringing. So I think that's kind of where we had to, figure out how we're going to raise our kids. But yes, I do feel having somebody who's in the limelight be, co-parenting them does have its own, it comes with its own challenges, I would say. Definitely, I think Shahid was very, very protective. I did want him to ease up a little bit, because I was like, I want our kids to grow up, being able to go to the park and not be hounded. And, we can't be thinking about, we can't go here because there will be so many people. They have to be able to live and be children the way we grew up as children. And that's something that I was very, very sure about. So, of course, he gets a little worried sometimes, and I think now it's been like 4.5 years since we've been parents.
So which values do you share and what do you disagree on with Shahid when it comes to the children?
I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength. We both want our children to be very grounded, extremely grateful for whatever comes their way, because it's very easy to lead a life of privilege, but it's very difficult and it's tough to inculcate gratitude in your children. And I think the best way to do it is probably to be examples for them. And I mean, we try our best. I think leading a normal life, being very grateful for whatever you have, being respectful, those are the values that we both want to give our children.
How do you keep the kids grounded?
I don't want to sound very preachy, but a little bit of restraint goes a long way. And, not giving them too much, but I have to say that that's where sometimes we disagree on. Shahid is so particular that, I don't want our kids to be spoiled and they shouldn't get everything easy, and he's the one who goes and orders stuff for them and gets all these fancy things, and I'm like, Shahid, you just said you don't want to do that. But I think it just comes out of a lot of love because he doesn't see them a lot. And so yeah, I think we do tend to disagree sometimes, and he wants to spoil them a little bit extra, and I have tight reins on that.
Which aspect about Shahid and yourself did you discover once you guys became parents?
I never imagined Shahid to be the kind of father that he is today. He is his life when he's at home revolves around his children, much to my dismay. But I think it's amazing. He's always there for them. He's that perfect balance of a parent and a friend. That's something that I really want to learn from him, because when our kids grow up, we don't want to be on some other page and then they'll go and talk to somebody else. I think it's really important for our kids to have communication with us. And he has found that very early on with our kids.
What is Shahid's best and worst quality?
Well, I think his worst quality could also be his best quality, which is that he's a perfectionist. So sometimes it works really well because he wants to make sure that he does the best that he can, whether it's in his work or it's at home with the kids, as a husband, as a friend, as a son. But then, I think he kind of misses a little bit of spontaneity, and I think I've managed to hammer that into him in the last 6 years. So now he does take things played by ear. He's not all like, this is going to happen like this and then like this and then like this, because I'm very relaxed. I have zero plans. He's kind of brought in a little bit of structure into my life, and he's kind of taken a little bit of smooth sailing, I think, from me.
When would you think you are the happiest?
I think that's just like such an existential question. I think happiness is like, it's that moment of contentment. So I can't say when I'm with someone or when I'm doing this or when I have that. It's a moment, a time when you just feel content. So it could be when you're sitting in your pajamas and having a burger, or it could be watching a movie with your kids.
What are yours and his favorite cuss words?
I feel like many a times it drops without you knowing that these little bobs are around. So no, I don't think I'm going to mention my favorite cuss words, but I have to say that language preference, mine is English and his is Hindi.
You are so active on social media. Tell us a bit about the India Edit.
So the India Edit it's like my third child. It was the first time that I thought something and it actually happened. I've always been very India proud. I've always loved everything that comes from our culture and from our traditions, and not in a kitschy way or like a culturally appropriated way, but I felt that, we kind of need to make our traditions and this amazing culture that we have, that's why I call it a cultural cornucopia. We have to make it relevant for people like my age and younger, and even those who are older and have probably forgotten about it, because we have so much information overload. We're so accepting towards K-beauty, and we like to have turmeric latte only once it becomes a buzzword in the food industry in the West. But we've forgotten that those things are actually part of our culture. So whether it's Ayurveda, whether it's yoga, whether it's traditional forms of embroidery, I wanted to reach out to people who share that same love for our culture, for India, for everything that we have, and talk about it. I wanted to reach out to people like me and tell them, look, like, India is cool, let's wear it proudly on our sleeve. Let's not be ashamed of it. There's so much that we have to offer, and everyone can take a little bit away from it. So for me, the India Edit was making India cool again, I would say, or, making India relevant for the millennial. That's what it was.
Trolling on the internet is commonplace. What's the worst or the most scary thing that you've ever read about yourself?
So I think with trolling, you got to take it with a pinch of salt. I really hope the internet becomes a safer space and we're more accepting of other people's opinions without putting them down. I think we need to be accepting of other people's opinions. And really, guys, like, we have better stuff to do than troll other people. Everyone is trying to make a difference, trying to do the best that they can. So when it comes to trolling, either you ignore it, take whatever constructive criticism you can from that, and then just move on and do what you have to do, as long as you have the right intention.
Social media has put pressure on the paparazzi to deliver. How do you deal with their obsession with you and your children?
I think this was about a year and a half back. I think this was about 6 months before the pandemic. We realized, Shahid and I realized that, our kids are growing up and they're starting to ask us, Papa, why is somebody there at the window? We even have the right answer to give them. What is the right answer to give them? And both of us took a decision at that time to request the photographers to not click pictures of our kids. They were actually very understanding. I think Shahid, because he's known them for so long, he called all of them and said, listen guys, don't take pictures of my kids, me and my wife will give you whatever photographs you want whenever we're, out or in a, working capacity or something like that. And actually they were very, very understanding. So since then, they didn't really take any pictures of the kids because you do want them to feel like childhood is childhood. So they were very respectful of that. So fortunately, we haven't had to deal with the paparazzi since then.
How do you feel when your Insta feeds go viral? And tell us a bit about one of your latest posts on Shahid's 40th birthday, where you said, I like me better when I am with you. Happy 40th, any wiser, and I am in trouble. What does that mean?
I think I like me better when I'm with you is both ways. We love spending time with each other. Not that we don't fight, but I think when we're together, we're each other's strength. So he does have a little bit of a jnani in him, which is why I did say that if you get any wiser, I'm in trouble, because I don't think I can take any more of that. So that was my little wish for him. I always like to have a little bit of fun and pull his leg. But yeah, my Instagram posts go viral as long as they go viral for the right reasons. I feel as long as my influencer tag is for the right reasons and I'm doing the right thing, like I said.
Would you be worried about your kids choosing movies as a career when they grow up?
It's funny, I actually asked Shahid this question 2 days ago. And he was like, look, we'll get there when we get there. I think and I asked him that because I've seen how difficult it's been for him. It's not easy, and you want to protect your child. As a parent, yes, you do want to put them in tough situations, but you want to make sure that they're protected. It's a dichotomy, but I've seen that happen with Shahid and it's tough. I think careers are something that your children will choose for themselves, and all you can do as a parent is, again, circling back to the first question, which is give them the right values and make sure they don't forget them. And then if they're doing the right thing, I think it's good, because they probably have something that they really enjoy doing, something that they like, whether it's, being a doctor, an astronaut, a vet. The sky is the limit today. You can do just about anything.
Travel-wise, what's on your list list?
Most recently, it's been Masai Mara. I really want to go. We just had a family friend visit us from Kenya, and he was telling us about it. So I definitely want to go.
What's your post-pandemic wish list?
I really want to have all my family over with my kids and spend the whole evening together. My mom-in-law is in Bombay. My brother-in-law is working everywhere. They haven't been able to see the kids. Our kids are here. They miss Dadi. My father-in-law has been able to come and they have been able to meet my parents. But, all our friends who missed out on seeing us and our kids and that bonding that we have, that's my post-pandemic wish list. I want to just be together, eat some great food. That's it.
What is your most favorite thing that Shahid has ever done for you?
Last Valentine's Day, it's cheesy, but last Valentine's Day, he wasn't in Bombay. He was shooting. I woke up in the morning and I got out of my room and the entire living room was full of flowers. And I have a weakness for fresh flowers. I have them in my house all the time. And there were just some 20 different arrangements, and I was like, I can't believe you've actually done this. I can't believe what I have been saying for so long. You have registered it and you have done that. It was the sweetest thing.
And lastly, I'm sure everybody wants to know your favorite beauty hack.
My most popular beauty hack with all my followers is actually that beard brush for the baby hair that I have. I hate it. It's such a nightmare, but I've finally been able to figure out a way around it. So I've just picked up Shahid's beard brush from his trimmer box and it's mine now.
Meera, thank you so much for your time and for being so honest with us. Thank you.
Take care, you too.
You are watching Weekending. As we transition from winter to summer, what is it that you need to do with respect to your hair and your skin? We find out as we speak to Dr. Kiran Sethi. Doc, what's on the checklist?
So first things first, let's talk skincare. I want you to get into a foaming or a gentle foaming face wash, like a CBM Gel Moussant by Bioderma is very good, or Cetaphil has a great face wash for oily skin. Then I want you to get into your vitamin C. Everybody should be on a vitamin C. Please be on a vitamin C. Please, please, please. Vitamin C is a wonderful protectant against the pollution and against dirt and dust and all of those gross things in that air. And then I want you to be on a sunblock. Your sunblock should be at least SPF 30 and above, and it should have UVA protection as well. Wear it twice a day, no matter what.
Wonderful. And what advice would you have in terms of treatments? Because now there are a whole host of treatments all dermatologists offer. So what would you recommend?
I'm American board certified in lasers and aesthetics, and I am here to help you. So what can we do? We want to look at things that will help stave off the acne and keep your skin rejuvenating itself. So I'm a big fan of medical collagen induction therapy or medical microneedling, which is where we use a specific depth, a specific serum, and we customize it to your skin. The next thing I'm going to do is something called Neo laser. Now Neo is a laser, we're the only people that have it, that actually will kill acne bacteria. So it'll stop that acne in its tracks. It'll also boost collagen, and again, it'll help prevent those pores from opening up, especially when you're going to get all of that oil secretion this summer, and it'll give you a nice light bulb glow. So we got it all covered. Neo is a laser, so you will have to be careful with the sun for a few days.
I can't wait. And a quick question for everybody watching or wanting to get these two treatments. How often does one have to get them?
So I would say for medical microneedling, which is our facial called Infuse Me, I would suggest doing it once a month. I like that instead of doing like cleanups, etc. Although if you do get a lot of blackheads and whiteheads cleanups, you can add to it. So I like it to be done once a month. It's gentle, it's easy, it's quick, and no downtime, and you're comfortable, and your skin gets younger. What could be better? The Neo, it depends. If you are not getting acne, you can do it once every quarter, depending on how much glow you want.
Wonderful. Let's get started, Doc.
Let's do it. Hi, Ambika. Are you ready to do this? We're doing the medical microneedling, and we used a product called kojic acid. Now, kojic acid is wonderful because it helps with skin brightening. It also helps balance uneven skin tone. It also works on marks, and it's very safe. And the best part is that we choose a depth that will stimulate baby collagen. So that's fetal collagen, the same collagen you had as a baby. Also, it teaches the keratinocytes, the skin cells, not to get crazy and create marks. Anyone who's sensitive also can get this because you'll see just such a change. You're almost done. A great thing about this therapy is that there's no downtime. Rarely you can have a tiny scab, but that goes away. And you can go out in the sun afterwards. There is no requirement of being away from the sun. Now we're going to clean off some of this serum. And we're going to do the Neo facial. It kills acne. It stimulates collagen. It also reduces melanin in the skin. So excess melanin in the skin also gets killed. So we treat grid by grid to make sure that nothing gets missed. No pain, no discomfort. Now we cover the brows and we cover the hairline because we don't want to bleach the hair. This is the forehead. This is where those lines show up, right? So that collagen synthesis is great in this area. And this is great. It's COVID safe. There's nothing touching, there's no applicator touching the skin. What could be better? The only thing you have to do is wear a lot of sunblock and stay out of the sun for a few days. That's it. So now we're just gonna ice the skin down so it just cools down. And then we'll apply a soothing cream and the sunblock and you're good to go. Your skin looks fabulous. It looks really good.
I hope you have jotted down the recipe for great summer skin. On that note, it's time to say goodbye. See you again next weekend.